Hello guys, once again welcome to my YouTube channel, and on this very first episode I would like to share a story that has to do with how my life turned around and to the point that I have the confidence to come out now and start talking about the days of my life, what my life journey has been, from my past to present, and of course, even to the future as my life keeps unveiling. So stay tuned. So a few years ago, guys, I went from, you know, having more than enough to not having anything at all. Like it was a very real struggle. It was tough, you know. I went from having literally everything that I needed, to not having anything at all. And those times and seasons of my life, trust me, it wasn't funny because it felt like all hell, was let loose against me. It wasn't just funny. I I couldn't even afford to feed myself. I couldn't even afford to clothe myself. Let's just say most painful seasons of my life. So around this period of my life, like I was very, very depressed. In fact, God had already saved me, from being suicidal. Because yes, I was actually suicidal at some point. But this very season of my life, which I am sharing with us, today, I've already gone past, that suicidal stage. Actually, I'd gone past it, So, but still, it wasn't easy. Still, it was pretty tough, pretty, tough. The truth is that having overcome, suicide, it was still very, very tough for me, to deal with, because like I said, I couldn't even afford, to feed myself. It wasn't like I didn't try to do something. My businesses has failed. It felt like everything I was trying to do literally at that time and season of my life felt like nothing would work. It was a very hopeless case, So as of that time, even literally, I had even stopped going to church. I stopped going to church for a couple of years, because I was, should I use the word, quarreling with God. I was such in a horrible, state that I lost all hope. I lost all faith in God. Sorry, I'm trying to get myself together. I don't want to cry. So around that time, I had given up hope, and I don't have any faith at all. I know that God is real. I know that there is God, but I wasn't on a good terms, with God, because I felt like there were so many questions that needed to be answered, by God, and they were not just forthcoming, So I stopped going to church for a few years actually, and within that time, I remember like my former lady, every Sunday morning, because they are Catholics, this woman will shout my name, oh, come, let's go to church, let's go to church, and I'll go like, oh, mommy, don't worry, maybe next Sunday. And as of this time, the funny thing is that, even family and friends, like everybody tried to get me to go to church. And I'm like, no, leave me, like just leave me at where I am. You get, like, I was comfortable not going to church because like I said, there were too many questions. I needed closures for what has happened to my life, and no answer for that. So it wasn't making sense that I was still going to go and serve the same God. That was what my mind was telling me. It didn't make any sense to me that I was still going to go and serve the same God, that that allowed things to go bad for me. So around that time, I had given up hope, and I don't have any faith at all. I know that God is real. I know that there is God, but I wasn't on a good terms, with God, because I felt like there were so many questions that needed to be answered, by God, and they were not just forthcoming. So I stopped going to church for a few years actually, and within that time, I remember like my former landlady, every Sunday morning, because they are Catholics, this woman will shout my name, oh, come, let's go to church, oh, let's go to church, and I'll go like, oh, mommy, don't worry, maybe next Sunday. And as of this time, the funny thing is that, even family and friends, like everybody tried to get me to go to church. And I'm like, no, leave me, like just leave me at where I am. You get, like, I was comfortable not going to church because like I said, there were too many questions. I needed closures for what has happened to my life, and no answer for that. So it wasn't making sense that I was still going to go and serve the same God. That was what my mind was telling me. It didn't make any sense to me that I was still going to go and serve the same God, that that allowed things to go bad for me. Yeah. So truth is that God is a very, very merciful, God. But I was seriously quarreling with God that time. Let's just use that word. I was mad. I was angry because a lot of things, nothing was making sense. Like I tried to look for any kind of job that you would think of. I even tried to look for a waitress job. I couldn't get, employment. It was a season where disappointments, delay, everything was just declining. Everything was just following me back to back, not in my favor at all. Everything was wrong. Everything wasn't just working, and everything refused to work. It was so bad that I would go I would go and submit my CV. Even, like I said, even for a waitress job, I wouldn't just get hired for some reasons I didn't know then. Sometimes you hear stuff like, oh, sorry, we can't find your CV no more, and all of those things. I resorted, to like, okay, you know what? Let me go and look for car wash. At least that one I'll be getting every day money and all of those things. Let me go and look for a car wash. Maybe they can employ me. I actually went with change of clothes. I went to the ones in my former area, that time. And they were like, oh no, sorry, they don't have slots and all that. And then I decided to go into the city of Abuja, which is the federal capital of Nigeria. So I decided to go into the city of Abuja to find. I said, because, okay, my area, which was my former place then, which was outskirts, right? So I felt like, okay, if maybe that place I didn't get, that was because they don't have much car wash, yeah? Okay, I felt like in the city, there's no way I will walk around that. Definitely one place is not going to, hire me, which was what I was, banking on at that time. But far, foul, foul, like, oh, more, it didn't work. It didn't work. So I started working, got to town actually. And, I started working and all of those things to different, what do they call, to different car wash. And they didn't even pity for me. I even showed them, like, I came with change of clothes, like I'm ready. They were like, no, this is not a woman's job. Sorry, we cannot hire you. Nothing, no English. Like, there was no English that I did not, try to speak for those people that, don't worry, I have, energy like a man when I'm working. Don't worry, just, hire me. And literally all the places that I went to, that was the same thing, exact same thing that I actually got, so it became more frustrating. It became more, depressing. And this was actually 2020, to be honest, But before then, things were already, things were already spoiled, like things were already bad. So I remember sometimes in 2020, I was very angry. I don't try. Like, I've tried so many things, and like I said, nothing would just work, from my personal businesses, to me trying to get jobs, be hired by people. Literally nothing would work. It was so bad. So I remember that time I was so angry. I was so mad. And then one of those days I cried to my friend. She's a very good sister, a good friend, and like a mother to me. And I was full of regrets, like, I was just crying, like, like, why didn't I have sense, when all was good? Why didn't I have sense when I had money and all of those things? Like, I was filled with regrets, like different kind of regrets, I was telling her, oh, if I had did like this, my life wouldn't be like this now. Like, it's a lot, which I would, I'll be sharing with us as we progress. Okay, as we progress, I'll keep sharing with us. And I remember that night, she held me and she encouraged me, and she shared the word of God with me. Remember that this time I don't go to church. But this lady was very kind, very, very kind to me. Like, every once in a while, if she listens to programs online, and she'll just shout my name or call me on the phone and say, oh yeah, because we lived very close to each other. And then, she's like, come and listen to this one. They are talking about you. This has to do with you. So shortly after that period of, intense regret, I started receiving a link from my inbox on Facebook about prayer, and I was very reluctant at first. But then when I saw that my two friends that were sharing it with me, Perry and Dr. Alero, when I saw especially Dr. Alero, her consistency, made me kind of like give it a try, because I remember thinking to myself, okay, that these are two good people in my life, like they are two good friends. So if there be anything, it means that whatever they are sharing with me is something good, and it's something that they thought to themselves that would benefit my life. And so I gave it a shot. And one of the days I clicked on the link, and it happened to be NSPPD, the popular, the viral, prayer, NSPPD, which is organized by Streams of Joy, and the lay pastor is Pastor Jerry Uchechukwu Eze. And I joined the first time, wasn't too interested. Another time I joined randomly, and something caught my attention, the song. One day I joined from the beginning, and I listened to the song, the anthem, and I heard the Pastor Jerry, my pastor actually, because that's where I am now. I'm a very proud member, and because that's where God literally changed my life from, my story. All this now that I'm coming out to speak to you about my life, everything going on, it's just because of that link. So as I was listening to that anthem for the very first time, I heard the man of God, my pastor now, he started sharing testimonies. And I remember, like, I just lost it. I became emotional. I started weeping. I wept like a baby. And I was like, really? So God can do these miracles? And then it felt like all of a sudden, me that had no faith or I've lost hope in God, like hope was just restored by me just hearing those testimonies during the anthem, as the anthem was playing before the prayers. So suddenly hope, became alive. Like, yeah, faith was restored. And I went to God in prayer. I remember going to God in prayer and I told him, this now is like towards the end of November, right? 2020. Like I went to God in prayer and I'm like, God, if truly you're the one doing all these testimonies that the pastors has shared and the members also, has also shared, I told him something specifically that he should, do for me if truly he is in that platform, So I put him to test. Remember that this is the same God that it felt like all these years, like God stopped hearing my prayers and all those things. So I just said, okay, if truly you are here, yes, do so and so for me come Christmas of that same year, 2020. And guess what, guys? Guess what? So surprisingly, guys, just less than 2 weeks into, me joining and I made that prayer, I got that answer that I had, that I got the answer to the prayer that I made. Like, okay, if you're truly here, then do this, do this for me by Christmas 2020, which was the following month of December. Like less than 2 weeks, I was flabbergasted because, Homo, at some point of my life, I had prayed. You don't understand. I don't pray. Like I prayed to the point where, like, is it deliverances in so many churches, different churches, Mountain of Fire, you name it. What didn't I do? Is it seed sowing? Name it. Is it mountain? I don't climb. I've climbed mountains, in search of change, solution for my life, and all of those things. So I was flabbergasted, like, God, just now, like that. And that's how I became glued. I became glued. And that's how my life, slowly and gradually, it didn't happen instantaneously, like, everything didn't just, but slowly I saw that the more I stayed on the altar of fire, NSPPD, my life started changing. And guess what? Me that have not gone to church in years. So sometimes in March 2021, which is the following year, I saw on Facebook that Streams of Joy, which is the church organizing NSPPD, that they are coming to Abuja to open their church. My people, immediately, I just knew I had found my church. I said, when I go there, that first day, whatever happens will be my final decision. It was like a tsunami, like it was filled with multitudes, like multitude of people came, getting inside was a problem, but I said I must enter. And somehow I managed to, get myself inside the church. So the moment Pastor Jerry got onto the podium, and then the first thing he did was he just started singing the song, I just want to make Jesus proud. Like, he lost it. He was crying. I also lost it at that moment. That was the moment I knew I had found my place of worship for life, where I'm going to serve God. Trust me, it's not been an easy journey, but I have seen God work. I've seen God in action, church. There's a lot of things that is going on. I won't tell you that it was easy at first, no. But I stayed in the presence of God. I reconnected with God. My relationship with God, which I lost for years, we came back together. Yeah, I reunited with God. And that has been the most amazing thing ever that has happened to my life. So true to it, I will be sharing with us going forward the story of my life. But I find out that I'll be doing you all a great injustice if I don't introduce you to the man who changed my life, which is God. To the man who changed my life, and to the platform in which my life was changed, which is NSPPD and Streams of Joy Church. And God bless my pastor, Pastor Jerry Uchichukwu. I love him so much. I love him. He's doing amazing things. God is using him to change a lot of lives. So I don't know, but I would like to end this video by telling you that no matter what your life situation is, even if you have lost hope and lost faith in God like I did, God can still be trusted. He changed my life. He turned my life around. He beautified me. Hold on to him. Cling to him. Don't lose him. He will come true for you. This, I promise you. See, I'm trying so hard not to cry. But I can say this with my full chest, that God can be trusted. It doesn't matter the circumstance. It doesn't matter the situation that you find yourself in. Even if you had quarreled with God like I did, even if you have turned your back against him, because you feel like all your prayers are not being answered or being heard, listen, you're hearing it from the horse's mouth today. The one that God has shown mercy, which is me, Nic-Ola. God can be trusted. So I just want to use this first video to give honor to God and to encourage you that no matter what it is, no matter what it is that you're going through, no matter what the situation of your life is. See, one thing I said is I'm going to say it all as it is, telling you the stories of my life. There's nothing like sugarcoating. You might be embarrassed at me, or feel ashamed for the choices that I did and all of those things, but listen, I know someone that will write stories, and that is God. And that's what we are talking about today. And it is my pleasure, my honor, to introduce you to him. No matter what, no matter how far you've drifted, come back to God. God is real. He never leaves the one behind. And I promise you, he will never leave you behind. He will not forsake you, no matter the difficulty, the circumstance, even if it feels at the moment that you've been left alone, you've been abandoned. Come back to God. Come back to Abba. Come back to him. And I promise you, he will fix your life. It's not all going to be hard. It's not going to happen all instantaneously, right? But keep following God Almighty. Keep following him, and you will see how he will transform your life. You will see how he will beautify your life. And you will see how he will change your life. And if it will not be too much, to ask of you, I'd like to invite you to the prayer network, the prayer platform, through which all the changes that has happened and is still happening in my life came about. NSPPD. It's on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can equally type Streams of Joy International. 7 a.m. Mondays to Fridays. I give you 3 months on that altar. If nothing changes, leave. And lastly, to you, Pastor Jerry, if you ever come across this video, I am one of your many daughters. I love you so much, sir. From the depth of my heart. Thank you, sir. Thank you. God bless you, sir. You have no idea what you are doing for us. And so till next time, guys, that will do it. Thank you so much for watching. And please don't forget to share this video, like, comment, share with your friends and loved ones. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget as well to turn on the notification button so that you can always get notified each time I post a video. Till next time, see you guys. Bye.